Well, it's called the Rose now, but it used to be the Emmy Gifford Children's Theater. Emmy was an artist and she was a designer.
Her passion evident not just on stage, but in her journals and sketchbooks, which inspired a new public exhibition coming soon to Fontenelle Forest.
Executive Director Marisa Whitehall is here alongside Charles Gifford. Thanks
Charles,
for
great to meet you and good to have you here.
Yeah, first time on the show. Thanks for stopping by. But really, Marisa, set the scene for us on this exhibit. We've got some really interesting pieces here, to say the least. What is this exhibit all about?
Well, this exhibit really is an opportunity for Fontenelle Forest, which has had an incredibly long relationship with the Gifford family, over 100 years now, to invite people to the forest to experience, you know, all that we have to offer there by exhibiting the journals of Emmy Gifford, the sketchbooks of Emmy Gifford.
These are magnificent, and I can't wait to show our viewers some of these pages. But in reading about her and your whole family, I was captivated by the connection and how far back it goes between the Giffords and Fontenelle Forest. Lay the groundwork there.
Well, Fontenelle Forest Nature Association was founded in 1913, and among the Omaha citizens that founded Fontenelle Forest Nature Association was Dr. Harold Gifford Sr. And so the first purchase of land, 300 acres, was purchased in 1920, and over years that's grown to encompass 2,000 acres, which is phenomenal that our city has that resource. And that also includes 600 acres at Neil Woods, which was given to Fontenelle Forest by the Jonas family in the 1970s.
And Dr. Gifford, who was initially involved with these acquisitions back in the early 1900s, the relation to Emmy was his daughter? No, Emmy?
Harold Gifford Jr. was his son.
His son.
Emmy was the Jonas.
Daughter-in-law.
Daughter-in-law.
Her work, and a lot of people do think about it as theater, they might not realize that she was such an awesome artist, and we see that even in maybe this book, because this is really interesting. This is kind of where she was. Where did she study art?
Well, you know, she went to Smith College, and then she studied art at the Art Students League in New York City. And these sketchbooks are from that time when basically an artist went out and sketched from life. And so you see, you know, women with hats and gloves and men smoking cigarettes and you know, just gestural things that were really important for artists to understand.
This is
for
so,
sure.
so delicate. I don't want to
No, and how old
damage
is this
it.
one?
Oh my gosh.
Well, that's from 1932, and I should explain or say along the way that these are now owned by the Museum of Nebraska Art, and they've loaned them to us for this show. And
oh my gosh.
we've been able to open them up.
Mary,
Mike, I'm
I
sorry.
feel like
I'm
you
trying to
should
do it
have some
upside down.
rubber gloves on
No,
here.
I know. Well, these are, how old are these sketchbooks and journals?
1932.
Oh my gosh, here, let me pick up another one that might not
set
be.
it down, Mary.
Sorry, this one is so cool.
Well, this is very
it's
interesting.
her.
My mother was in the Mediterranean with her parents in the 30s, and she caught typhoid fever and was put off the ship in Malta and stayed in a convent for 10 weeks and made these sketches while she was there.
Wow, that's her.
Yes, that's right.
How did your mother and father meet?
But it wasn't easy.
It never is.
No, I guess not. My mother was just back from New York, and she was still kind of conflicted about leaving the city and moving back to Omaha. And my father called on her, as they did in the day, and she sized him up and said, I don't like men who part their hair in the middle, smoke pipes, or have a mustache. And so he shaved and got a haircut and a pack of Camels and made it, I guess.
I love that. This we've got three of her things here. Help us understand the difference between journals and then sketchbooks, because we see stories here, and I mean this bruised leg and this whole thing.
Well, so this is more of an example of a journal which has a narrative, some dates, some information, and it's sort of a way of keeping a memory. And I think anybody who's kept a journal is familiar with that. The sketchbook is more the artist's sort of private place where they hone their skills, make notes to themselves, work on their emerging art. You know, it's a workbook, really.
Yeah.
So and not quite so pretty, but in a way, it also demonstrates a certain passion that is common to artists.
Mary, as you're reading through this, what is she written in there?
I'm just
on
reading.
this page. And-
Cake, cooked dinner, the leg. Whose
But
leg
there's a
is
leg, somebody's leg
right?
was
Whose
injured.
leg? What
that's her
happened?
leg.
That's her
And
leg.
how did she hurt it?
Over there,
Because she was
in a
skiing.
crash.
Oh, but she then skied with the injury, and she said it didn't seem to bother it. But this was. I mean, look at all of this. If you think about the journals you kept when you were younger, or even today, did they look like this? No, which makes me so curious about this exhibit and how you bring some of these pages, more than 60 of these pages, to life.
Well, actually more than 150.
Really?
Well, we've scanned them in a high-resolution scanner and printed them on inkjet paper. And now it's possible to look at facsimiles of many of these open book pages. And it's a wonderful thing to see all at once and to understand the depth of our interest in it.
Just love
Marie
it.
says, we look at this graphic right here. Give us some of the details of this exhibit when it opens. September 17th, obviously.
Yes, September 17th, the exhibit opens to the public. We are going to be kicking it off with a gala on September 16th. And in order to see the exhibit, all you have to do is come and pay a daily admission at Fontenelle Forest. It's only $9.50 for adults, $7.50 for children, $8.50 for seniors. And our family memberships allow you to come in to see the exhibit, to see our brand new Raptor Woodland Refuge, as well as participate in some of the many other great programs that we have happening at Fontenelle Forest on a regular basis.
Sounds fabulous. Thank you for coming in to tell us about it, and really nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you
and
so
thanks for
much.
sharing these works with the community.
My
Just
pleasure.
incredible stuff.
Yeah.
Thank
Marisa,
you.
thanks a lot for coming. Most golf